Welcome back to Torpedoes and Tarantulas. Y'all, Jeff here, welcoming you back again, hoping you've had a great holiday and an awesome time with your family and friends. I did as well, was going on a trip. Everything has gotten kind of behind. So basically, I'm starting to do some catch-up videos, and this is one of those here. So, with all that being said, in my last video, as I promised, I was going to do this video. If you did not see the last video on the update of my female jumping spider, please go back and do that. It will kind of keep you up to date on what's going on here. For the rest of you, you know she left me many hungry mouths to feed, which are back here. And they are tiny mouths, so you need tiny feeders. So I'm going to show you guys basically, hopefully this will help someone out there that decides to be crazy like me and raise a bunch of little teeny tiny baby spiders. Hopefully that will help educate somebody else. I'm sorry about the glare. There we go, guys. You can see they are, in comparison to my thumb, they are quite tiny. So yes, they do need fruit flies, but I think they're getting big enough. I was giving each individual spider its own fruit fly. I think I'm going to try to switch to 2, maybe 3. Just dump a few in there and leave them. But I'm basically going to kind of take you step by step through the process of how I care for these guys and everything, and how I dispense the feeders out, how I feed them, how I water them. So let me get set up and I'll show you how to dispense the feeders. Alright, seeing as how you're feeding with fruit flies and they are so tiny, they're difficult to feed out unless you know how to do it. You always want a secondary container. This is an old roach colony tub when I just had a few tarantulas. I was raising roaches in this tub. Well, you see, I've had to put tape over it. But what I do is I take the initial tub, and you always want to keep in mind that fruit flies will climb, and they climb quickly. So you always want to give the tub a few taps, of course, and then I will just take the lid off completely first. Just separate it, and then move it back to the side just a little bit to leave a crack. And then the adults will start to kind of make their way up, as it were, to the mouth of this container. And then every once in a while you just give it a tap, and of course you probably cannot see it very well, but there's live adult fruit flies dropping down into this tub, and you just thump it around until you think you've got enough in there, and that should be a good start, because I'm not going to show you how I feed every one of my babies. But always keep in mind, once you tilt this container up, that there's going to be some on the lip. You just give a couple of last taps to knock them off, and then put the lid on. That avoids a lot of escape from that culture. And then once you get these guys in here, they'll start climbing up the side. Just remember, give it a few taps and then throw a lid on it. Now, you saw how quick and running around these guys were, and you wonder, how in the world do you feed these out individually? That's what I'm going to show you. You have to sedate them. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. Hold on, guys. Alright, guys, step 2, after you get the fruit flies that you want to disperse out of the main container that they're in, you see they're running all over the place. The next step you want to do is sedate them. And the best way to do that is just to lower their outside temperature around them in their environment, and it will slow them down to where you can basically immobilize them for up to several minutes and then feed them out. And so that's the easiest way to do it. So the best way to do it, I find, and I'm going to give you a peek in here, guys. This is my refrigerator. Please don't judge me. You put them in the refrigerator for up to 5 or 7 minutes. And if they're extra lively, you can leave them up to 10 minutes. Or if you need to feed some out quickly, you can just put them in the freezer. But I wouldn't recommend more than a couple of minutes there. If you put them in the freezer, please remember to set a timer or a reminder or something, because I've done it a few times where I killed some fruit flies because I forgot for 2 minutes in the freezer. But a lot of times they will be immobilized, and sometimes if they're not moving around after a couple of minutes, just be patient, because sometimes it may take them several minutes to warm back up and start moving. But if you leave them too long, it can kill them. In the freezer, you can immobilize them quicker, but it will kill them quicker. In the refrigerator, if you forget for a couple of minutes, it's not a big deal, because it's just going to put them in a deeper sleep, and you can probably still reuse them. So while those guys are cooling down, I'm going to go get a drink, and then we'll come back and show you how we feed these little guys right here. Stick around. Alright, so here we are back. I left the fruit flies in the tub in the refrigerator for 7 minutes. I actually set a timer so that I wouldn't forget. You see they're all basically kind of asleep, with a few of them waking up and moving around. And just give them a tap to knock them down into the corner. And you pop the top off. And whatever your personal preference is as far as a separator, you will get yourself a fine tip object. Like I use the tail end of my paintbrush, and you just kind of separate them, and you can tap them to break several loose and get them into the corner, and you just kind of funnel them down just one at a time. Apologize if you can't see the fruit flies very well, but I'm just kind of raking them in there one at a time. This is going to be the bunch for the ones that I feed in the tub, and then I will show you once how I feed those individuals. And at that point, we will kind of be done with the taking care of spiders with the fruit flies video. Again, always give your containers a tap to knock them down. And now I've got several fruit flies separated out, which I'm going to put into this tub over here, which has at least 5 baby jumpers. So stick around, guys. I'm going to show you how to feed them. Alright, guys, as I get ready to feed out these fruit flies to these baby jumping spiders that are in this little tub right here, you can see several of them moving around. It looks to me as though all of them that were in there a week ago before I went on my trip are still alive, which means they're at 7 still. But you can see they're all over the place and they're crawling around, and you can see they're quite tiny. So you see the necessity for fruit flies. So I was just hoping to educate somebody on how to keep and feed outward fruit flies, if possible. And I want to explain to everyone before I feed these fruit flies out my setups, okay? With these guys, they're true spiders, especially with jumping spiders. They always want to go up. If you'll watch some of these guys as they move, there's one over here on the side you can't quite see. He's going straight up. So, excuse me. You basically invert the enclosure. And when they're this tiny, they don't really need leaves, substrate, nothing like that. I mean, jumping spiders really don't need much in the way of substrate, except for when they get older. Just something to hold moisture. Because they're, I wouldn't say arboreal, but they're just kind of vertical spiders. So I use a setup like this so when they feed, or if the feeders that they missed died, gravity takes over, they drop down here into the lid. I can take this lid off without disturbing these guys, thump it in the trash can to dump out all of the carcasses, and then I go to water them. So this is how we water them, guys. Alright, guys, so what I do before I put some feeders in there is I give them some water. I always use distilled water with all my inverts. I use distilled water, and I use a common spray bottle. And what I will do is just set it on a fine mist, which it's not on now, and then just mist one side of the enclosure. And so they've got some water. And then, of course, after that, I take all of the fruit flies that I got, give them a tap to dump them down at the bottom. And then I just drop them all, give them a tap, drop them all in there, and then just wish the spiders the best of luck. I cannot give you too much time videoing this because the fruit flies will start to run out, but hopefully we will see a takedown or two before that happens. I'm sure after a week or so, these baby jumping spiders are kind of hungry, but I'm still not going to risk a good takedown for fruit flies running loose in my house. So, okay, I see one climbing over here on the left side. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you how I feed the individuals now. Hang on. Alright, guys, and so individuals are actually a lot easier to care for. As you can see, same typical concept, the deli cup, upside down, all feed and molts and waste and everything goes down here into the lid. I can't show you how I get rid of mine, but since I'm doing this video on a towel, what I would do in this case is you just take the lid off and give it a thump. All the dead fruit flies and carcasses and everything fall off, and you've got a clean lid. And of course, your jumping spider is still up here at what they think is the top. And so then after that, what you want to do is, again, water like you did with the group. But of course, this is a lot easier. So you just always want to find the side that the spider is on, which is right here. And you just want to give a light mist on the other side, like that. That's all they need. And then you just pop that lid back on there. Set it down upright. Now the jumping spider that thinks it's on top is on bottom. And then you take your fruit flies, which I think I have 2 or 3 in here for this little guy. And you give a tap, make them fall to the bottom. Give another tap, make them fall out. Shoo the little guy back in the tub because he got curious. Put the lid on. And sadly, the one thing I probably won't be able to show you is the takedowns, which is why I love these little jumping spiders, because they're like little tiny cheetahs. They actually hunt down and track and chase down their prey. But I don't know if I can get that in a video. Actually, this one's already got a fruit fly, but we missed it. And I mean, they are quick. It's so amazing to see them do it. It's fascinating. I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 more feeding videos, and then that's going to be it, because I'm going to run out of time, guys. Alright, guys, so here we are again. Try number 2 with feeding a baby jumping spider and getting it on video. Let's hope something may happen this time. Like many of my spiders or inverts or scorpions or tarantulas, they never want to act eager to do a takedown when the camera's on them. But when I'm just feeding them every once in a while and the camera's not on them, bam, they're on stuff, like I said, like a cheetah or a lion. And so, you know, it's kind of disappointing when you try to make videos of them and they just don't give you what you want. Now, this little guy is locked in on this first fruit fly over here. I don't know how much you can see because I'm watching a different angle. Yeah, you're close to what I'm seeing here. But it may take him a couple of minutes to do a takedown, because it'll probably take that long for the fruit fly to realize he's going nowhere in the direction that he is, and he's turning around the other way. Hold on. This guy's locked in on this fruit fly like a Scud missile. Hold on here. What are we going to see? He's watching it. That's why I love these little jumpers, man. They're hunters. Love watching these guys hunt. There you go, right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Hunting. I love tarantulas and scorpions, but they're ambush predators. And then you've got these little jumping spiders, which are so gentle, so smart, and so cute. And they're ambush hunters. That's why it's so exciting to keep these guys. So there you go, guys. That's basically kind of how I feed and take care of them. In groups and individually. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I helped someone out in the process of making this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to leave me a thumbs up and a comment. If you didn't, please feel free to leave me a thumbs down, and especially if you left me a thumbs down, leave me a comment. Want to know what I did wrong? Want to know what I need to fix? For the rest of you, thank you. We're all family. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Subscribe, share. Take it easy, y'all. God bless.